Hey guys, Carl from Purple Misplaced. Today I'm going to be taking a preview look at a prototype copy of the spatial puzzler city building game Micro Architects. Excuse my pronunciation, but this is from designers Kamil, Langie, Jaroslav Vats, and Michał Jagodziński, and publisher Thistroy Games. This is actually a re-theming sort of micro-sized version of their older game Skyline Express, which I don't have any experience with, but the sort of visual look and the sort of spatial puzzler of this caught my eye, and I wanted to take a look at this. Disclaimer, I was given a review copy, or in this case a preview copy of this game, as it is about to hit Kickstarter very soon. Let's head down to the table to see how it plays as a solo game, and then I'll meet you back up here to let you know what I think. Before we get started, I do just want to remind you that this is a prototype copy of the game, so all of the components that you see on screen will not be representative of the final component quality in the published game. With that said, let's go ahead and get into setup. To set up a solo game of Micro Architects, begin by placing out the game board. Next, you need to set up the goal cards for the game. The game will play out over 3 rounds, and for each round, you're going to need 2 goal cards. So we're going to deal out 6 goal cards, shuffling the deck, and then laying them out in pairs of 2. And I will explain what each of these different goals means as we get into gameplay. We then need to set up 3 service tiles, which are these cards here, giving those a shuffle and placing 3 of those out next to the board, with the remaining deck of cards there as well. There are a few other things that we need to do to set up the game, meaning placing out the buildings and our landmark tiles here, but I'm going to go ahead and set up the player area first, and then we'll come back and do those things, because each of those things is going to sort of depend on which round we're playing, so I'll set those up as we set up for the first round of the game. So, in order to set up the player areas, we are each going, myself and the AI, going to take one of these player boards like this, and we'll place those out like that. And for this playthrough, I will also be playing with the residence module, so we will also be using these additional player boards here for the residence module, and I'll just stick those next to the boards like that. Then take the AI deck of cards, give that a little shuffle, and place that off to the side here. Then finally, to set up my own player area, we will start the game with 2 action tokens, these little wrench tokens like this, and I'll place those here, and then the rest of my wrench tokens I can put out on the board like that. The AI will not use those tokens, so they don't get any of those. We also need to put out scoring markers for both ourselves and the AI. Unfortunately, my prototype copy did not come with those markers, so I'm simply just going to use my own markers. This green and orange, I will be green, the AI will be orange, and I'm just going to set these off to the corner over here. They will go onto the board as soon as we score a point. And just in case we do go around the board multiple times, I'm going to set a couple of cubes up here as well to sort of track the additional 50 points as we get them. The final thing we need to do for the player area is that the AI does start automatically with 1 service tile or service card. So I'm actually going to slide that up and put that there. So then finally, to finish the setup for the game, we do have to set up our buildings and our landmark tiles for the first round. Now, it's my understanding that the actual game will come with a bag for this, but I don't have a bag in my prototype, so I've simply placed all of the buildings into this box, and I'm going to be drawing them out at random. Looking at the board here, you can see in the first round in a 2-player game, which is what it is with myself and the AI, we're going to be putting out 2 rows of 10 buildings down here below the board. And I promise you that despite all of this yellow in a row here, I did choose those at random. And now we also need to place out 6 sort of backup buildings over here on the blueprint section of the board. Then we do need to place out the landmark tiles, and the number of landmark tiles we're going to place out is going to be equal to the number of landmarks, which are the black buildings that we have up here on the board and in the active row, which is the first row of buildings. So in this case, we have 2 here and 2 here, so we will be putting out 4 of those tiles like this. Now for these landmark tokens, when the AI takes them, they will be taking sort of from the left and the right. So I'm going to say that this top left is the leftmost and the bottom right is the rightmost, and we're sort of snaking down like that, just to save some space on screen. Next, I'm going to take these boat markers, and I'm just going to set them down here off in the bottom corner for when they're needed. And then finally, to complete setup, because we are playing with the residence module, starting with the first building, we're going to place a matching colored resident on every other building. So this black, green, red, and the same thing at the bottom, yellow, 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 red, black. And with that, we are finished the setup of the game. The Micro-Architects is going to play out over a series of 3 rounds, and each round is going to have, as you see here, 2 rows of buildings. And myself and the AI are going to alternate, taking turns, taking one of those buildings and placing it into our town, either in a sort of residential area or an industrial area. And we're doing so for a couple of different reasons, mostly to score points based on these goal cards, these service cards, and these landmark tiles here. So for each of the 3 rounds, we're going to be looking at 2 of these goal cards. And at the end of every round, the goal cards for that round will flip over and we'll be scoring the next set of goal cards. So let me explain what each of those means first so you can see sort of the big main reasons we're going to be doing what we're doing. And here we've got a block that includes 1 red building and then 3 of any matching color buildings will score me 6 points. This one says any 4 non-matching buildings in the same block for 4 points. Here we have 2 greens diagonal from each other and 2 blues diagonal from each other in a single block. Now that can be rotated and flipped so long as the greens are diagonal and the blues are diagonal, and that will score 5 points. Here I've got 2 matching colored buildings along the river. So the river is this central sort of blue area on the board, so I would need to have 2 matching color there, and or there, and there. Over here I've got 4 of the same colored building in a column, in the same column. And here I've got 1 of each color building in the gray sections. So these are the 4 gray industrial areas. So somewhere in that area I need to have all 6 colors in that spot. And if I do that twice for any of them, or 3 times or 4 times, I will score that number of points multiple times for as many times as I've accomplished those goals. In addition, when I show you how gameplay works in just a minute, we will be getting these boat tokens into our board, and we can always use 2 boats to purchase a service card. The AI starts with 1, and that means that at the end of every round when we do scoring, for every pair that matches the colors on that card, you will score 2 points. And you'll see we'll continue getting those cards throughout the game, so we'll be scoring more and more points at the end of every round, or each successive round. The next big way we'll be scoring points is based on these landmark tiles. And we're going to take a landmark tile of our choice every time we place a landmark or a black building onto our board. And let me get a little bit closer in on one of those. And there's a couple things you're going to see on these cards. First, you'll always see 2 different colored buildings, and then you'll see this symbol that's either a tree or those 3 gray blocks I showed you, showing either that sort of residential kind of area or industrial kind of area, and then you'll see either a river or a mountain. These 2 symbols combined are going to be the location that that landmark building wants to be placed in. So in this case, residential mountain means it needs to be placed in one of these 2, these 2, these 2, or these 2 spaces, because the mountains are these brown lines that run along the edges of the board. And during the scoring means at the end of every round, if this landmark is in that space that is residential next to a mountain, it will score 1 point. In the case of the AI, because we're going to be playing on normal difficulty, they would actually be scoring 3 points for that. And then in addition to that, both myself and the AI will score an additional 1 point for every building that's either of these 2 matching colors in the same block that that landmark building is in. And again, we take these tiles whenever we place a landmark in our player board. The final way that we will score points is going to be based off of these residents, but let me go ahead and explain how the base game works before I explain the residents module. So again, on my turn, I will be drafting one of the available buildings in the top row, and then once that's clear, we will be drafting one of the available buildings in the bottom row. And when I draft a building, I can place it anywhere I'd like to on my board with the intention of trying to score points based on the goal cards and on those landmark cards should I happen to draft a landmark building. I mentioned before that we will have boats to buy these service cards. The boats are going to happen anytime I fill in all 4 spaces of a certain block. I will get 1 boat, and that boat will get placed on one of these little life preservers in the river. When I have multiple boats, I can use those boats to do things. And when I use a boat, I will simply slide it to the left off of that life preserver, showing that it has been used and cannot be activated again during that game. And you'll see here printed at the top of the board, I can spend 2 boats to get one of those service cards as I mentioned, or I can spend a single boat to get 2 more of my action tokens. So since I just mentioned action tokens, let's talk about what those are for. Action tokens are going to sort of be your way to deal with and manipulate your village or your city after you've started building it. So in the first round of the game, it's likely that I won't use those too much. But remember, we're going to be scoring these 2 goals, and then these 2 goals, and then these 2 goals. So it might be that whatever I've done to set up to score lots of points on these won't be a great setup for the next round. So we're going to be using these action tokens to sort of manipulate things to deal with that. And you'll see here on the board right there, all of the different things I can use my action tokens for. I can spend 1 action token to swap 2 buildings on my board. I can spend 1 action token to move any one building to any empty space on my board. I can spend 1 action token to swap a building from my board with one of the buildings available here in the center of the blueprint board. I can spend 1 action to swap these residents, and I'll explain that again in just a minute when we get into the residence module. Or when I'm spending 2 boats to take one of these cards, I can spend 1 of these action tokens to draw 2 additional cards from this deck to give me more options on the cards that I can choose. And it's worth mentioning here that I can never, or the AI as well, can never have more than 1 card that has the same 2 colors at the bottom. So it's not like we can spend a ton of time building points up just on 2 colors. We will have to sort of diversify our colors to score as many points as possible from those service cards. And at the start of every round, we will be getting 2 more of these action tokens. And again, we can always use boats to get more action tokens as well. So that's it sort of for the base game. You'll see more how the scoring works as we get into play. But we're also, as I explained, playing with the residence module here. And the way the residence module works is if I choose a building that has a resident on top of it, I'm going to be able to place that resident in any of these locations here on the residence board. However, each row can only ever hold 1 color. It's worth mentioning though that the black residents are wild and can be placed in any row with any other color residents. But we're going to be slotting the residents into these rows. And anytime that we complete that row, we're going to do whatever it shows in that window. So for the top of each color, we're going to be receiving 1 extra action token. And for the bottom of each colored row, we will be scoring 3 points. Now it's worth mentioning that the AI doesn't care about the color of the residents. They will always fill in left to right across the rows, and they will be scoring 3 points for every single column that they complete, or sorry, every single row that they complete. Also, anytime that you fill both rows of the same color, you will also place a boat out here. So this is another way to get boats to spend for those action tokens and for the service tiles. So that's basically it for how the game plays. So I'm going to go ahead and get into gameplay. I'll explain how the AI's deck works when they take their first turn. But understand that the AI is very often prioritizing these landmark tiles and also prioritizing the buildings that have residents on them. So I need to be careful of that. Again, paying attention here, I want red surrounded by 3 of any of the same color. And I also want a block that has no matching colors if possible. Then I want to focus on those reds, but there's lots of them, and I don't think I'm going to score more than 2 for this card. So I'm going to take that landmark with the resident because I'm pretty sure the AI will if I don't. And then looking at the available colors out here, I don't see much blue, and there's only a couple of purple, so I don't really want the blue and purple or really the blue and green. But I also don't want to bury my reds in the block with that landmark because I want to be focusing on that scoring. If I'm looking here, then maybe green and blue, or green and purple, sorry, is a good idea. So let's take that green and purple card. It wants me to place it in an industry by the river. So I'm going to place that there. And I might as well just go ahead and place that resident right there. All right. So then we turn over our top card of the AI deck and we see this. This first spot that's empty here will be telling the AI to take a landmark building. In this case, it does not. This next slot says that it's going to choose a building that matches one of the 2 buildings of the first landmark on its board, which right now it doesn't have any, so it's going to skip over that. The next one says it's simply going to take the 5th building from the left. Now, it's going to prioritize taking a building with a resident. So if this building does not have a resident, it's going to choose the first building that does have a resident starting from that left side. So let's start first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That building doesn't have a resident, so it's actually going to take this leftmost resident, which is the green building. And anytime the AI doesn't have a specific building that it's placing in a specific place, it will always fill from left to right across the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then down doing the same thing. So it's going to place that there, and it will place that right there. Then I want to take one of these reds, so I can start working on that up there, like that. And I will place, yeah, I might as well do that because the black is wild, so that will work fine for me. Yeah, it takes their turn. All right, here we go. So they are going to prioritize taking a landmark building from the right side. They'll take the first one, but this also tells me that they'll take the landmark tile that's the furthest to the right side. So I'm going to be taking the only landmark building there is. And then, starting from the right, I said that the bottom rightmost is the rightmost. They're going to take that one. And they're always going to place it in the first available slot that matches that. So industrial by the river means there, like that. My turn. I wouldn't mind prioritizing green around this black building. I'd love to have more red surrounded, but the only option there is going to be green. I don't know I'm going to be able to take that many things. We might get lucky. Yeah, there's 4 green. 1, 2, 3, 4 out there. And I only need to have 3 of them. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take this green guy here. And I'll place it there, assuming that we're surrounding that red. And that green goes right there. All right, AI takes their turn next. No landmark, prioritizing something that matches their landmark. Their landmark is purple and blue. So we're first going to look for a purple building, which there is one. It will take that purple building, and it will place it there with that landmark. My turn then, I am taking that red. And I will place that red here. And I will fill in that 3rd row, which gets me 1 more action token. AI goes again prioritizing their building, which is purple and blue, but there isn't any. So they're going to take the first from the left building, which is this green one. Whoops. And they will continue filling in that first block. All right. My turn. Green or red? There's plenty of red. I need those greens to fill this. So I'm taking a green. I will fill it in right there. AI will take their final turn. I know what they're doing already, so I don't really need to follow that. They will take this red. That red goes there. Then we move to the bottom. Now, there are an additional 2 landmarks here, in addition to the 2 landmarks that we still have there, so I need to add 2 more landmark tiles, like that. Now, I'm getting 5 more things. So I don't think I'm scoring this one, because I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to fill in everything, and I can't. So I'm going to prioritize this, because 2 6s is better than a 6 and a 4. Means I don't need that red anymore, but there's a lot of yellow. I only need 3 of them. Yeah. I'm going to take that landmark, just so he doesn't get it, because he's scoring points off of them. And I don't really care which of those I'm getting currently, but it would be nice if they're different colors than that. So let's take this green and red one, which needs to go into a spot by a river. And realistically, it goes right there and scores off these greens and reds. But for the first round, I want to focus on that red. So I'm going to put it somewhere over here. And I will likely move that later on with an action token. So that gets slotted there. But actually, yeah, I'm not doing it at all anyway because I need that green here. So I'm actually going to use one of these. I prefer this red-green because I'm setting myself up really nicely for it in the future. I'm going to swap this with the green, which means that goes back again. And I take that green and place it there. It's worth mentioning that these action tokens, you can only ever spend 2 or fewer on a turn, but that fills the first block, which means I do get a boat there. Then the AI takes their turn. Prioritizing a landmark. There is only one landmark, and they're taking from the left. So they're going to take that landmark, and they're going to take the card that I just replaced. And that's an Industry River, so they will place that there, and place that right there. All right, then if I am going to score that other thing, I need to focus on these yellows. So I will take a yellow. I will place that there. I'll start a new row. Now, it doesn't matter where I'm putting these. I can put them anywhere. I can focus on points before I focus on actions and so on. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Put that there. AI takes their next turn, focusing on their landmarks. So first they're looking for purple or blue. There is a purple, so that goes there. I'll take another yellow and get another resident, which is great. AI is trying to get a landmark. There aren't any. Trying to match their colors. Purple and blue there isn't. Blue and green there isn't. So they're simply going to take from the right the fourth building. 1, 2, 3, 4. But that doesn't have a resident on it, so they're going to take the first building with the resident in that order, putting that there. Placing that resident there. They've now filled in a block, so they will also get a boat, like that. Lucky me, I will take another yellow building, placing that which gets me 3 points. And I filled another block in, getting another boat. And then, looking over here, there's a service tile that's yellow and green, which is great for me because I got lots of yellow and green. So I'm going to use both of those boats instantly to take that yellow and green service tile like that. And fill that back in. AI takes their turn. No landmarks, no matching buildings. They're taking the second from the right. I'll take that yellow. And they will always, again, fill in that order. So lucky me, that goes there, which doesn't help this. But it does get them a second boat. And the AI will always instantly use both of their boats when they've got one to choose the service card that best scores for them at that current time. So right now they've got 2 green, 2 red, 2 purple, 1 yellow. So this purple-green scores them 2 sets. So they will take that one. And we replace that. And lucky me, I will take that red and place it over here with this building. Yes. Hold on. Assuming that that gets swapped with these, and that's already happy, I'm going to focus on yellow because pairs of yellows and greens are good for me. So I'm just going to take a yellow and place it somewhere. It doesn't matter where right now. So I'm just going to stick that over here, and we'll deal with that later. It means the AI takes this red one and places it right there. That's the end of the first round. So we go through this listing here on the board to reset for the second round. So first thing we're going to do is scoring. So for me, the AI doesn't score any of the goals, only I do. So I'm going to score this goal. I've got red surrounded by 3 greens. I've got red surrounded by 3 yellows. So that's 6 times 2 is 12 points for me. Then this landmark is in the proper location, so I get 1 point for that. And then my scoring card, pairs of yellow and green. I've got 4 yellow, 3 green. I've got 3 pairs. That's 2 times 3 is 6, so 22. That's it for my scoring. Moving to the AI. Again, they don't score on goals. They're scoring on their landmarks. Proper location gets them 3 points. So that's a 3. Purples and blues here, so 3, 4, 5 for them. Here again, proper location is 3. That doesn't match, so just 3 for them. Yellows and purples right now, they only have 1 pair is 2. The purple and green, they have 2 pairs for another 4 points like that. Next, we flip over the goals for that round. Then we refresh the blueprint. We place out, again, 2 rows of buildings and in the blueprint. The blueprint will always have 6, but the number of tiles down here are going to change, or the number of buildings down here will change. So again, in a 2-player game, round 2, we're going to place out 2 rows of 8 buildings. So let me go ahead and fill in those 8 buildings and the 6 on the blueprint. Like that. And then finally, we're going to take an additional 2 action tokens for this round and shuffle up the AI deck. In addition, I forgot when I cleared the blueprint, I should clear these as well. And then we'll put out new ones. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the new landmarks that are out there. Like that. Then, looking at the goals for this round, again, diagonal greens, diagonal blues get me 5 points, and 2 matching color on a river gets me 2 points. Now, that said, I'm not going to go back and retcon everything because that would be cheating, but I will say that this last yellow building I placed in, I'm going to place there instead. Simply because I see that my yellows are here, and if I had been paying attention, I would have probably done this swapped as well, but I'm not going back that far. This one was the last thing I placed, so I feel okay making that move now. All right, so before we take any turns, let's look at, again, our goals are diagonal greens, diagonal blues. We may be able to do something with that. And then multiple colors of the same on the river, which we could do something here. And if we play with this a little bit, we might as well. We've got lots of action tokens to use. We've got lots of things to deal with. I like yellows and greens. I like green and red next to this landmark. I do see a landmark here. I wouldn't mind getting a landmark here with these guys. Yeah. Actually, watch this. I'm going to take this landmark, but that wants to be along the river. Hold on. That'll work. This is residential by the mountains. So if I place that here, and I'm going to put that here to finish this row, getting me a boat and 3 points. 1, 2, 3, like that. And I get a boat right here. Then I'm going to use an action to swap 2 buildings, swapping this black and this yellow. And we are taking this. So it likes yellow buildings, and it wants to be along the mountains in a green area, which it is. So I just need to get that red building out of there, which is fine with me, because this red building can go right there very nicely. AI takes their turn, prioritizing a landmark building. There's only one, it gets this. It's taking from the right side, which again is this one. Wants to place in a industrial mountain, which means here in a mountain like that. My turn. I want both those blues and yellows. I'm going to take the yellow because there's 2 blue that have a thing. And we are going to put this here. Yellow, I'll just start a new row. Yeah, I might as well just keep it there. And I'm going to use another action to swap that yellow with this red, because this landmark likes yellows, and now I have 2 more yellows along the river, which will score for there, and this red matches there perfectly. That works nicely. AI takes their turn, prioritizing buildings for their landmarks. They're going to start here. Purple, yes, they'll take that purple. That goes there. Then I will take one of these blues, and I'm going to do the exact same thing I just did. This blue goes here. This blue goes here, and I'm going to spend an action to swap this blue with this red like that. AI takes their turn. Again, prioritizing buildings for the thing. It's looking purple and blue. That's full, sorry. Purple and green. So it is going to take that green, which is awesome again for me. because I get that blue. And I'm going to do the exact same thing one last time, putting that blue there, putting that resident there, and then I'm going to spend my last action for this round, unless I get more, swapping this blue for this green. Because blue-green, now I've got that pattern there. It's flipped, but it matches. And this green matches that landmark, which is awesome as well. AI goes again, prioritizing their landmarks here, looking for green or red. There aren't any, so it's simply taking this yellow and it will place it right there. Next row, we've got one more landmark, so I will place that out like that. Now, what am I trying to do? I would like to, that's a problem, that's the opposite direction. That's fine. Blue and red, what do we have? We've got green and reds. I've got yellow and green. Hold on, I just finished another block, as did the AI. So they've got another boat there. I've got another boat here. Let's take a look over here. There's red and purple, I don't like it. Yellow and green I already have, so blue and green is the only new one that I've got. I've only got 2 blues so far, but that's okay. Purple and red, yellow and red. Well, it doesn't hurt. Yeah, I'm going to use those 2 boats to take that blue and green card. Replacing that with a red and green could be nice. Then, my turn, I am going to take that landmark. I don't like them to have landmarks because that's how they're scoring more points. And then I'm going to place this here. I'm going to end up swapping it later. No, hold on. I don't know that that's a good idea. Ooh, that's nice. All right, I'm going to take this one instead. Placing this here because I can see in the next round that a straight line of the same color buildings is good. And if I can get red, 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 this scores off red, and that would be a perfect line for that. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to place this one here so I can get one more action token from that. AI takes their turn. There are no landmarks. It's trying to find a building matching their building, which means green or red. They're going to prioritize the one with the resident. So that goes there. Red goes here. And they get 3 points for filling that line. 1, 2, 3, like that. My turn again. If I can get those 2 greens and place them on a river somewhere, I might as well. I'm scoring for greens anyway, twice. Yeah, let's do that. I'm going to take that green resident. I'm going to put that there just because. He goes in there because he's not yellow. So now I can only put yellow and green residents or black residents on my board. AI, prioritizing landmarks. There aren't any. Now we're looking green and red. He'll take green first because green is the leftmost on that card, placing there. And I might as well try to get a yellow row somewhere, especially because I can place a yellow resident. So I'm going to put that there. And I'm going to put that there. Like that. Yes. Yeah, it takes their turn. Green or red, they'll take the red there, filling another block, which gets them another boat, which is another pair. So they'll instantly slide both of those over like that. And they're looking to maximize scoring potential. Red and purple, they've got 3 pairs. Yellow and green, just 2. Red and green is also 3 pairs. No, red and green is 4 pairs. Yeah, so they're going to take that one. Does that still fit on camera? It does. Okay. That gets replaced. I get to choose from purple or purple. I will take purple. And I see here that this one likes purple, so I will put that there. It doesn't matter here, they're going to flip the card, but they'll take that purple anyway, and it simply gets placed there. So again, scoring. I've got one of the blue and green crosses, I get 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. On the river, matching. I've got 1 pair here, 1 pair here. I didn't get that green. I don't know if I forgot to or if they took it, but I guess I wasn't paying enough attention. 2, 4 points again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then those flip over. These buildings go away. These buildings, or these tiles go away. We're going to refill everything here. In the third round, 2-player, 10 buildings, 2 rows. And after setting up, we've got 4 landmarks to place. I get 2 more action tokens. AI gets reset, and we'll start the final round of the game. All right, then, our 2 goals for this round are columns of the same color, or all 6 colors in the center district. Now there are 4 times 4, 16 in the center, so the most I can do is 2 of those. Yeah, all right. And I don't want to touch this block. I don't want to touch this block as far as other places, but I could line up red this way, so I might swap those. I'd like to swap this yellow with something over here, because I don't need it to be there anymore, but let's see what happens. The landmark's not a bad idea, but I don't really want to put one except maybe in this green area here. But blues and greens don't work. Yellows and greens do. And I wouldn't mind having a blue in this area for something. But I don't want to waste my swaps for the wrong thing. So, all right, let's see what we can do. I'm going to take this yellow. But there's lots of yellow opportunity residents down here. I need 2 more green residents or black and green residents. Well, let's see. We might end up hurting ourselves in the long run here. Hold on. I definitely need to swap 1, 2, 3, and I'll get 1 more, 4. All right. I think we may be okay. So I'm going to place this anywhere. And I'll place that black one there. And then I'm going to use one of these to swap that with one of the blues here. Hold on, what was I was looking at? Yes. This one. And actually, I don't want it in that row, so I'm going to put it there. And I'm taking this yellow-green here like that. AI's turn. Prioritizing a landmark, so they will take that one, leftmost that one. Industry and mountain goes there, like that. Then, I want that green, I think. The columns are just as good as the non-columns. Means yes, we're going to take that green, and I will place that green here, filling in that. And I just realized I never scored the AI on the last turn. So we got to back up for a second. Removing that for a minute, we have to score the AI's board. In fact, I didn't score any of my stuff either, aside from the goals. I rushed a bit. Means I need to undo everything I just did, which means put this back there. Lose those 3 points. Take this one back like that. Take this one back like that. Take this one back like that. I'll keep that. Means that also goes back. And let's finish scoring, shall we? Then landmarks. Here I've got this one is 1, 2, 3, 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4 points. This one is 1, 2 points. This one is 1, 2, 3, 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4 points. Yellows and greens, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 greens, and certainly more yellow than that. So that's 8 is 49 points. Blue and green, I've got 2 blue only, so that's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll stack a green cube on top of that like there. Now AI, sorry about that. 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yellows and purples is just 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Purple and green is 1, 2, 3, 4. is 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Red and green. 1, 2, 3, 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They are tied with me. Like that. Sorry about that. Now we redo everything that we've done before. This goes in here. This one, where did I put it? It doesn't matter, but over there somewhere. They took this one, hold on, that goes there. They take this one like that. This one was mine. I put it there. I scored 3 points. 1, 2, 3. I get a boat for filling in those bottom 2 rows like that. Yes, that should be everything. AI takes their turn. Prioritizing landmarks. There aren't any, so landmark buildings. This is full, this is full, this is full. They want yellow or green. They take that yellow there, like that. My turn. I can't take that purple. I can't take that blue. Well, I can, but then I'd have to use an action to swap it. Remember, I have this action. I can change that color for any other color, but there's yellows down here. I could do it just to keep him from getting it. But, let's see. I definitely need a purple here. I definitely need a red here. I definitely need a black in here. So, I'm just going to take that purple. I'm not going to waste the action. I'll just get rid of that. But I want a purple in this area somewhere. And I will just put it right there, like that. AI takes their turn, prioritizing matching buildings, yellow or green. They'll take that yellow there, like that. I definitely need a red and a black in here, which is going to be a problem because there's not enough reds to get the column that I wanted. That's okay. Purples and reds here. Yeah, we might as well prioritize purples down here. I'll take a purple and put it there. AI yellow and green don't match, so they are taking that one because it's the one with the resident. It goes there. This goes there. I have to take a purple. Yeah, I think I'm giving up on that red. I'm just going to put this purple here to score a point. And I fill in a block like that, which means if I want to, I could get something. And I see now I've got 4 purple and lots of yellow. I'm going to take that purple yellow one like that. AI's turn, we know what they're doing. They're taking the purple and they're just going to put it right there, filling another block in and getting a boat. Like that. There are 2 more landmarks down here, so we will put out 2 more landmark tiles like that and like that. Now I do need at least 1 black in this area here. I've got 2 greens, a purple and a blue, so I need at least a red and a black. If I could get 2 reds, a black, a blue and a purple, there's no purple, so I can't do doubles for sure. All right, then I need to prioritize getting those 2 green, getting those 2 yellow, and getting a red and a black. But I can't, because I only get 5 more pieces. Whoops. Okay, then I might have to swap something here with something here, or swap something on the board. I can swap in a purple. This purple can, oh, I already have that purple there. The only way to do it is to put one of these purples there. I lose a point, but that could get me 6. Yeah, you know what? That last purple I placed, no, because I used it for the boat. I'm not touching it. Okay. My turn then. I definitely need red. I definitely need black. I see a warehouse river that needs blue. I'm going to take that black, take that one there, place that one there, place that one there, and this black one will fill in that last one, getting me an extra action. AI takes their turn, no landmark, but they are going to match colors, which is yellow or green, so they'll take one of these yellows, filling in that hole there, filling in that hole there. Gets them 3 points. They're tied with me again. They get another boat there. They've got 3 free boats right now. Because they also get a boat there. So I will say they use that boat, and let's say this boat here to take a scoring tile. There should be another one there. And none of these are repeats for them. So let's see. Blue and yellow, they only get 1. Red and purple, they get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yellow and green, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But only 4 green. All right, so they're going to take that red and purple one. Like that. My turn. I need greens for sure. I need yellows for sure. There's a yellow up here if I need it. So I'm going to take this green like that, putting this here. And I just realized, wait 1 minute. I get a boat here. And I have a boat now here as well. And blue and green, yellow and green. I don't have a blue and yellow, but that's not great. Yeah, but I don't know that I have... Let me wait and see, because I don't want to save these action tokens if I need them for moving things around. Sure. Okay, they take their turn. Prioritizing nothing, because they don't have any empty landmark areas, so they're taking the first on the left, which is that red one there. Placing it there, like that. Which means I better grab a red, because I need it for that all colors in the middle card. And this is scoring on blue and red, so I will place that there. They will take that landmark. They will take this one. Means they're looking for mountain green, which is perfect for them here, and it already matches that red, which is sad. Okay. My turn. Hold on. I don't put that red there, because I need that yellow column. Whoops. That's not going to score a whole lot. So I'm going to put that red there. I'm going to take that yellow and place it there like that. Now, looking at what's happening, I'm only getting one more piece. So I need to put something there and get a yellow. And I'm going to put, it doesn't matter. I'm going to spend one of those to move this blue here. Hold on. The problem is I don't know what he's getting. Oh no, it's my turn. Yeah, right. To move that blue there. And then I'm spending another one to swap that blue with this yellow here, like that. And then it is my turn. Whoops. Okay, I can't do this with all of this stuff in here. I'm sorry. Okay. And I've got, hold on, 3 cards, so I should have 6 that I've used. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I still have those 2 boats available. And now I filled in that from moving that thing. So I put another boat there. And I take my turn, which is taking this green to place there like that. Wait, no, that's not true. I'm cheating. It's the AI's turn. They're prioritizing blue, red. So they're going to take that blue, which is perfect for me, because now I can take that green I was planning on. And let me see now, I have one more wrench that I can use for something. I don't need this yellow here anymore. I'm going to use that yellow to put that yellow here, because it scores on that. And I've got 3 boats that I can use. I'm going to use one here and one here. Let me just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's perfect. I'm taking a card. Yellow, green I already have. Blue, green I already have. And I just used my last wrench to do that swap for a point. I'm actually not doing that. I'm going to instead use that to draw 2 more of these. Blue, purple. Blue, green. Ha, great, they're all blue, so that didn't help at all. So those I'll just discard because I don't need them. I'll take that blue, yellow, because that goes there. Red, green would have been much nicer. Okay, AI takes their last turn, which is this yellow. It's just going to place it there, like that. And we move into final scoring, this time remembering to score everything. Hold on, they fill in that block, which means they instantly do that and that to take one more scoring. Red, green for them is 4. Oh, they already have red, green. Blue, green, and yellow, green. They've got 2 blue and lots of yellow. They're going to take the yellow, green. Like that. Then, scoring for me. Columns of the same. I've got 2 times 6 is 12. Means up to 18, like that. Everything in the middle. Red, black, blue, yellow, green, purple gets me 6 more. Like that. Here, I've got 1, 2, 3. Here, 1, 2. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here is 1, 2, 3, 4. And here is 1, 2, 3, 4. Yellows and greens, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 yellow. 1, 2, 3, sorry, green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 yellow is 14 points. So we'll go around again to that 5 and add another cube. Actually, I'm just going to take these cubes here. I'll put that cube there so I remember. Blue and green is just 1 pair is 2. Yellow and purple is 1, 2, 3, 4 is 8. And blue and yellow is just the 1 again for 2. And that's it from me. AI here, 3, 4, 5. Here is 3, 4, 5. Nothing here, 3, blue and red, 3, 4, 5. Like that. Here is 3, 4, 5, 6. Here is 3, 4, 5, 6. Then all of these, yellows and purples, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 10 points there. Purple and green, they've got 4 green. So they get 8 points there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points there. That was from 43. They should have, yeah, right, 1. Okay, giving them another cube like that. Red and green, again, 4 greens. Gets them 8 again. Red and purple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 10. Ouch. Yellow and green, 1, 2, 3, 4 is 8. Gets them there. So we finished the game, them with a score of 127, and myself with a score of 117. Unfortunately, I did not win this game. So while we're here, I do generally look at the components, but as this is a prototype copy of the game, I can't really say much about the components aside from the fact that I really do like the way that this game looks. Everything is very poppy. The colors are very nice. Everything looks good, feels good. Now, all of these components that you see on the screen right now, I do want to show them to you a little bit closer up because the buildings are the design that they're going to be, but everything in this prototype copy is 3D printed. It's all very, very plasticky. It's very, very obviously 3D printed based on the sort of texture of the stuff. I'm assuming that in the final game that these will all be wooden pieces, or at least if not, then they'll be sort of extruded plastic, which will be smoother and a little bit better quality than these. But again, this is prototype, so I can't really say much. Just that I do like the shape and the design of all of these pieces. They are very unique. Everything does stand out, so yay on that. I do love the dual layer boards, how everything fits into the slots. Now, the way that this is set up, and again, with the lightweight plastic 3D printed stuff, you'll see some of the stuff is falling down. It doesn't fit in perfectly. I am pretty sure that when the campaign comes, that will all be sort of fixed up so the pieces fit in nicely. They're a little bit heavier, a little bit chunkier. That won't be a problem, or it shouldn't be a problem. The card quality, again, I can't compare because it's all sort of quick prototype stuff, but I do, again, love the artwork. I do love the design, the iconography. Everything's very easy to understand, very easy to follow. The AI deck works. I'll talk more about how the AI feels and plays in my final thoughts. The tokens, again, this is all prototype. I can't say anything about anything else. The box, again, prototype. That's basically all I can say here, simply that I do love the shape of all of the pieces. I do love the artwork. I do love the graphic design. It looks very nice on the table. Maybe me back up top, and I'll let you know what I think about the gameplay itself. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. I do apologize for that sort of brain fart in the middle of the game when I completely forgot to do a bunch of scoring, but I did go back and hopefully fix all of that. And if I didn't, I'll catch it in editing, and I'll leave some subtitles down below to sort of fix any other mistakes I may have made along the way. Fingers crossed there aren't any. That said, before I get into how I feel about this game, I just want to talk a little bit more about the fact that this is a sort of re-theming of an old game that they had released a couple years ago called Skyline Express, which is sort of a theme of putting passengers onto a skyline and slotting them into the right places, just like you're slotting the buildings into the right places in the city in this game. That said, that game, I haven't ever played it, but I took a look at the instruction, the rules, and I took a look at a bunch of pictures of it, and basically it just looks like a full-size board game version of this, using tiles on giant player boards, and it's much more sort of table hog kind of big board game style game. So we'll keep that in mind as we get into my review or my thoughts on this game, but I can't say anything more than that because, as I said before, I haven't ever played the original game. So how do I feel about this game? Let's talk about the core mechanisms first, because that's sort of the main point of this thoughts process as I talk about these games, and that is the core mechanism here is basically drafting these buildings and slotting them into places in your city in order to match the goals on the goal cards every round, but also thinking about those landmark buildings and where they get placed so that they're placed in the right place and surrounded by buildings that sort of feed off of that specific landmark. And then also those other service cards that do score based on pairs of specific colors in my city as well. So there are these three different types of goal scoring. So while you're drafting these buildings, you've always got these sort of three things going on in your head. And this is talking about the base game first. We'll come back to the residents in just a minute. This idea of drafting to match these patterns, match these pairings, match the placement of the landmarks is something that I really, really, really enjoy. If you've watched my videos before, and I repeat this over and over again, I'm a big fan of these kinds of drafting to slot in a pattern, to slot into a tableau, to slot into some kind of arrangement of things to score based on the way that things are slotted into that arrangement of things. And this is another one of those games that does just that. And I really, really enjoy the way that this works, in that I am basically simply taking a building and placing a building on every single one of my turns, hoping to score points on these things, but also sort of thinking future planning, but also current planning, because each round has a different set of goals. But I'm currently focused only on the current set of goals while also sort of in the back of my head planning for what potential possibilities might come out as I move into the next rounds. And this 3-round system is something that really makes this game shine for me. And that's because not only am I slotting things into my board, but I'm also thinking about what I need to do in the future. Not necessarily doing it now, but knowing that coming up, I'm going to have to play with things. And that's where those action tokens come in. And that sort of is the unique twist on the spatial puzzle in this game, is that those actions are allowing me to manipulate things in the future. So I need to plan for me right now, but I also have to keep in the back of my mind that later on I'm going to be spending actions to start moving things and swapping things around so that I can then score on different shapes and different patterns moving forward. And this idea of changing goals throughout the game is a really, really fun one, because it does sort of twist that spatial puzzle in a way that I have to sort of build layers upon layers of scoring moving forward. And that's really cool to me. So you've got this ability to draft buildings to score on goals that are potentially, not potentially, definitely changing throughout the game. So thinking about how things get moved, if I score this here and then I move it there and score that there later, yay. But then on top of that, you're trying to get certain colors to match the pairs on the service cards that you're getting. And you're also then trying to get landmarks that fit into the right place inside those scoring goals, while also scoring the right colors around those landmarks and hoping that those right colors around the landmarks are also the right colors that score you pairs on the service cards. And all of this interconnectedness really, really, really works well. And that's not even it, because now you've got the boats on top of that. And the boats can get you more actions. And I didn't even really think about that as I was going through. I could have used the boats to get more actions, to swap more things, and maybe if I had done that, I wouldn't have done so poorly against the AI. Not that it was super poorly, and we'll talk about the AI in a minute, but the point is I could have gotten more actions and potentially switched a few more things to score out a couple little last-minute points in the game. But the boats are there not just to get those extra actions, but more importantly to get you more of those service cards that do score on those pairs of colors. So you may be placing buildings into blocks to simply finish that block in order to get a boat, in order to use the boat to get a service card that will score you more points later. So maybe I'm not focused necessarily on the pattern. Maybe I just want to make sure I finish that block so I can trade a boat in for more actions, or I can trade 2 boats in to get more scoring cards. So that's another level that adds on. And I haven't even talked yet, the Residence module, which we did use, or which I did use in this playthrough, really adds another interesting level to it, because now am I drafting a building just for the building, or am I drafting a building because I also want that resident that I can put in the residence board, which eventually leads to more boats, which gets me cool stuff, which eventually leads to more action tokens, which lets me manipulate more cool stuff, or eventually leads to more points because I get 3 points for 3 of those rows. So it just adds another layer of decision making. Should I get the building for a goal? Should I get the building for a landmark scoring? Should I get the building because it matches the pairs that I'm scoring off of my service cards? Should I get the building and place it in a block to get a boat? Should I get the building because it gets me a resident, which might get me a boat, which might get me an extra action that lets me switch things, which might get me some points that pushes me just over the edge into that winning spot? All of these layers really work together, but none of them on their own or even as the package is really all that complicated. It's a very, very simple game at its heart. Take a building, place a building. But you've got all of these interesting decisions that you're making as you're doing that. And I really, really, really do appreciate the way that all of those things layer together. Now, on to the AI. The AI system in this game is super, super simple. Every card has 3 levels, and they're always the same 3 levels. It's just whether they are there or not, and if they are, what they're doing. Because the only things that are going to change is the top layer may or may not have a building, or may or may not have the symbol that says that they want to pick up a landmark building. If it's there, they'll get a landmark, if they can. If it's not, they won't. And then the only other difference is which side of the landmark tiles they're starting from to take their tile. The second row is always going to be draft a building that matches a landmark. Always. The third column is always going to be a number with an arrow, counting that many buildings in from an edge, just to have them randomly select a building. Now, it does seem like that all of this would be quite a bit random, but because of the way that the AI scores, and because of the way that the AI gets lots of service cards to score on pairs, but also scores on landmark buildings a lot, they really do work well with scoring. This is actually the biggest gap in scoring that I've seen since I've started playing this game. Generally, my score and the AI score are like within 5 points of each other or something really, really close, which shows me that the AI is really competing at a good level against me, that it is really a neck-and-neck competition against them, and that really means something to me. I really enjoy that. And you might say, well, what if there's a game when there's not a lot of landmarks out? The AI is scoring a lot of points on those landmarks. True, but remember, the AI is filling in from left to right across their board. So if they have landmarks, they're spreading them out a little bit and then placing buildings with those landmarks to score. If they don't have landmarks, they're just filling in left to right. So they're going to be filling in lots of blocks really, really quickly, getting boats, getting lots of those service scoring cards, and it all sort of balances out. And ultimately, through my plays, I've seen really close scores, and I think this is a really, really good AI system. So is this the perfect game? Well, no, it's not the perfect game because it is a small game. There's not a whole lot of super deep strategy here, but again, there's lots of layers, there's lots of cool decision making. If you like spatial puzzlers, it's great. My only small complaint might be because it's so small and because everything's so tactile and because you're slotting everything in, it does get a little fiddly at times, placing out all the little buildings on the rows at the start of every round, swapping and moving these little buildings on your player board. It does get a little bit fiddly. It is a little bit of work. You do have to be careful sometimes not to knock them over. Now, I did say in the components overview that probably the components will be wooden and a little bit chunkier and a little bit heavier, so that will be less of a problem in the actual game. But do know that it is a smaller footprint game. You are moving around lots of these little pieces, so if that's something that bothers you, maybe take a look at the original version, the bigger version, the big brother of this game, as the one for you. But realistically, the spatial puzzle that's here is something that I really love. The levels of decision making here is something that I'm really enjoying. And I have heard that this game, just like its big brother did before, will have some scenarios added into the final version of it, which will switch up some scoring potential, maybe switch up some setup rules or some slight tweaks to the gameplay rules as well. And I'm excited to see how all of those play too, because if this game can have more variability, it's going to shine a lot. Because the other small negative you might get is that it does get to be a little bit samey. But with a small spatial puzzler that does have such a unique puzzle feel to it, does have some good decision making, the sameness doesn't bother me so much really, because again, it's small, it doesn't take up a lot of space on the shelf. I can throw it in my collection, pull it down every once in a while, chug through a nice sort of puzzle in my brain, enjoy the experience, and throw it back on the shelf. It's not one that I mind sitting for a little while because it is a smaller game. But again, if they add in some scenarios that does twist things up, mix things up a little bit, that variability will be very happy or welcome to have. So I'm excited. This is definitely one that gets some thumbs up from me. Definitely a recommend. Definitely check out this Kickstarter campaign. If it seems like something you might be interested, I'll throw a link down below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, as always, I do ask to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon below to help out my channel. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.